John Kwasinski into punt for the Eagles from right to left. Woffman and Olsen back deep to receive at their own 40. Here comes the kick. It's a high one. Good hang time on this one. Olsen's going to field it just inside his 35. Now he's going to work his way here to the near side. Gets around one tackle. Picks up a couple of blocks. He's now past midfield. Inside the 40. 35, 30, and he is gone. 15-10. John Olsen returns. The punt return for a touchdown. Minute 59 into this ball game, and the Penn Kingsmen are ahead 6-0.
Welcome in here to the Week 5 Penn preview on the Regional Radio Sports Network. Adam Demaree alongside me, Cory Yeoman, the head coach of the Penn Kingsmen. The Kingsmen fall to Orchard Lake St. Mary's last Friday, 24-21. Coach, a tough game, a tough opponent that you guys had to compete with here at TCU Freed Field. But as the old cliche goes, you kind of learn more from losses than you do maybe from wins. Is that maybe the case this week?
I couldn't disagree with that more. I can learn all I want to learn from a win, I'm going to tell you that. They're a heck of an opponent. I mean, they're a great football team, and there's a reason why they're the number one team in Michigan. But that being said, we need to coach better, we need to play better, and we did the other night. We got to finish. We got to do the things we talk about, the little things we talk about that are going to make a difference and get us over the top to be a championship football team. That was a championship football team we played. Came up a little bit short, so we've got to fix some stuff.
John Olsen returns the punt return for a touchdown to start off the game. Special teams started to kind of maybe come alive in the beginning. You take a look at what the special teams brought to the table. Are you impressed with what you saw, or there's still some more improvement to be made?
Well, there's always improvement to be made, but one of the big point of emphasis is getting a return game going. Now, the punt return did it in a huge way, and getting that touchdown to start the game and take the lead, that was huge. For the punt return, there's basically has two jobs. One is to catch the football, and two is to make one guy miss. Those other 10 guys are responsible for the rest of the guys. So had a great wall, great protection, but John did a great job catching the football, and he had to make a guy miss, and he did that, and then the rest is history. I thought our protection team, I was nervous going in the ball game with their return guy. Number one could really go, and our punt return, after he returned a couple for touchdowns the week before, I thought our punt coverage team did a nice job that game as well. So that was huge. So yeah, special teams got a little bit better last week, that's for sure.
You had a nice drive, I thought, but to end the first half last Friday night to get yourself back within a score, 21-14 at halftime, and I thought Camden Bone showed some great leadership. You also look at Bryce Forty. I thought he was huge at the wide receiver position.
Well, he did. He did a nice job, and Cam had a big night as well. And in that situation, with a little bit of time left in the clock and be able to 2-minute drill and get it all the way down and punch it in for a score to make it 14-21 at halftime was huge. I loved how the offense executed.
You take a look this week now, you're back in the Northern Indiana Conference to open up conference schedule play here at home against South Bend Adams. You take a look at what they did last week, upset Mishawaka over at Steele Stadium, a big win for them, forcing 8 turnovers defensively. What's going to be the challenge for the offense this week?
Well, they've got a big physical front. They've got a couple defensive tackles that can really play, big physical guys, and a lot of great skill positions on the back end, the guys that are ball hawks and fly to the football and got a lot of takeaways, like you said last week against Mishawaka. Offensively, they're explosive as well. They throw the ball extremely well. Had a couple big pass plays for touchdowns, and we're going to have to play another great ball game. They've had 2 losses, but their losses were to Northridge, who was in the Final Four last year, and to Rivas, Illinois, who's 3-0 and undefeated right now, and they only lost those games by a couple points, each one of them. So that's a heck of an Adams team that's going to be coming to town.
You take a look at what they do offensively. They got a special man in Gabe Brooks, who scored 6 touchdowns 2 weeks ago against South Bend Riley. You take a look at what the challenge is defensively, what the Wild Bunch are going to have to face this week.
Well, Gabe runs the ball extremely hard, and he's got a little wiggle to it. He's explosive, and when he goes back there in that Wildcat formation, he's a force to be reckoned with. And they got a big physical front as well too. So yeah, it's tough in that. They'll do several different things. They'll spread it out a little bit and throw the ball. They'll line up in the Wildcat with some unbalanced set and try to pound it down your throat, and then they'll run a double tight slot and motion back to eye backs and do multiple things off of there. So 3 different kind of animals that we're going to have to deal with defensively this week.
Sam Schultes continues to prove his worth in the kicking game with extra points, field goals, wherever the case may be. Jared Hancock as well, having a number of touchbacks last Friday night.
Well, I think both of those guys have picked up their game, and they're going to need to. We're now in the Northern Indiana Conference championship race, and we've got every game's important, and special teams are going to be huge. But both of those guys, Sam punting and doing extra points and field goals, and Jared's kickoffs. I mean, he put several of them in the end zone last week and then the week before. So both those guys are coming on.
All right, Coach, you got a chance to win your 34th NIC conference this season. It starts this Friday night. How do you get off to a good 1-0 start?
Well, we get back to basics. We do what we start, you know what I mean? And, every day, no matter what we're doing, if you look at our practice today and you looked at our practice 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, it always starts the same. It's all about fundamentals. And whether it's pursuit drill, whether it's defeating blocks, getting off blocks, whether it's blocking, catching, tackling, the fundamental of the game, they always have to be. You have to hit them every week. And sometimes I think you get too caught up with scheme. I think what you do every week, no matter who your opponent is you concentrate on the fundamentals and the basic techniques that you put in the first couple weeks of the camp. The first couple days of the summer, those techniques and those base fundamentals for each position are always going to be true. And when things get tough and things get close, it's still those techniques and fundamentals that are going to save the day. So I think it's continuing. You always worry about scheme and doing all that, but I guess here, the way we've kind of been brought up to do it, take care of fundamentals, and the rest the scheme will take care of itself.
Coach, best of luck on Friday.
Thanks, Adam.
Cory Yeoman, head coach of the Penn Kingsmen, join us here on the Week 5 Penn preview. I want to remind our listeners, pregame show this Friday on 91.1 The Globe and the Regional Radio Sports Network starts at 6. We join 95.3 MNC at 6:30 and kick off at 7 right here on the Regional Radio Sports Network.